Welcome. Just hit the got it button. And if you're not muted and you have noise in the background, just please mute. Otherwise, you could stay unmuted. Doesn't matter. So welcome to this discussion. It's not just a talk. And somebody's in the background noisy. So if you don't mind, I may have to hit whatever it is. Thank you, whoever you did. It's easier than me trying to run the gamut. Somebody has a radio or a TV or something on the background. Thank you. If you stay muted, except when you want to talk, just hit the unmute button yourself, or okay, or pick up your hand. It is going to be an informal discussion. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask you, if you will, what do you hope to gain from tonight's discussion? And just one line, and say your name. So if you like, and if you want, just 1 or 2 words about what you do. What is this for? So, Erica, can we start with you?
Yes. So my name is Erica, and my actual teacher mentor, Debbie, she's the one who recommended the actual class. So there's obviously some good information, or else she would have not sent me this way. So just anything new, anything new.
Anything new. Okay. Let's just go down the road. Donna Centrelli, hi.
Hi, so happy to be here. Thank you, Nancy. So I have a practice in spiritual guidance. So I was so excited when I saw your email. So just looking for information on how I can enhance my practice using Young Living Oils.
Wonderful. And if you don't know anything about the oils, or you do, you can just say whether you do or not. So I'll know how many people need more help. Carla, can you unmute?
Yep, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, I came in on one of your classes very briefly with essential oils, so I wanted to learn more. I'm a lavender addict. So I would like to learn more just for my own
Sure.
life, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I am an oilaholic. So we never know. Okay, Janie.
I just always love learning from you, Nancy, because you've been with Gary directly, and I know you just have such great information to share with us.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. I think here's the best teacher I could ever hope for, right? Thank you, Janie. I hope he's listening and hearing. Kim?
I'm just here to learn new things. I enjoy learning new things, and I always enjoy learning from you, Nancy.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. My first assistant, one of my first clients. Thank you, Kim. It's been a long journey, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Hopefully a lot longer. I'm not
I'm aiming. As somebody once said, I can't be dead yet. I have too much to do. So
yeah, right.
we hope.
Exactly.
We can only hope.
Only hope.
Thank you. Jessica. Are you there, Jessica? You're not muted. Okay. So you may be with the kids. We'll skip and go to Elizabeth.
Hi, Nancy.
Hello.
It's so nice to see you. I just know that there is definitely something to aromatherapy, because I'm a country girl, farm girl, and I know the way that the smells of the country, especially after the rain and the plants and the flowers, I know how those affect me on a soul level. So I know there's more to this, but as far as like essential oils go, I know nothing.
Well put. Well put.
Thank you.
And Thank you. Gwendolyn.
Well, hello, everyone. I am excited to join you for the first time. Nancy, I get your emails all the time. This is the first time I've been available to actually participate in your webinar. So thank you for continuing your work. I am a spiritual counselor, and I'm also a Reiki master and a certified reflexologist. And I'd like to enhance my practice by utilizing essential oils more. And that's why I'm joining you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that. Good.
You're
Good to
welcome.
know. Kim, and this is Kim Mazzatinello. You can unmute if you'd like to introduce.
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Okay, great. Hi. I'm a former user of Young Living essential oils. And I say former only because I have them everywhere in my home, but I've kind of gotten away from using them. And then Monday I attended a Shiomi class with your friend Judith. And I saw your interview that you did together with her, and I was reminded about the powerful healing benefits of using oils. And so I was excited to connect with you tonight. So thank you for inviting me.
You. And
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Judith is a trauma recovery expert and a grief therapist and a phenomenal human being.
Yes.
I know her about 40 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Less than I know Kim, but about 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Robin with a Y-N. I like that spelling. Would you like to unmute and say something? Thank you.
Hi, I'm from Australia, and I have used the oils for probably about 13 years now, and I just want to renew my passion again for them. Like, I have been very passionate, and I studied aromatherapy with the Institute of Spiritual Healing, and I just want to know more. I just feel that I want to renew my vows, so to speak. And I love Gary with a passion, and I know you learnt from him. And I know you. So all of that.
Sure. You knew Artemis, right? Artemis?
Yeah, I don't know.
And Linda and Alan Simpson?
Yeah, I know Alan and Linda well.
Yeah, I thought so. Say hi if you speak to them from me.
I will.
Thank you. Okay. Susan Pellicati, Sue Pellicati.
Hey, Nancy. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
It's wonderful, the topic that you have going on here. It really caught my eye. Many years ago, I introduced Nancy to the oils, even though she knew about them many years before me, but it renewed her interest in them. And I love the power, the vibration, the potential, healing potential on all the different levels of the oils. And the community that has been created around the essential oils that makes them very special.
Yes. Ditto. I'll just ditto that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stacy?
Hi, Nancy. It's my first time here. I'm excited to be here. Nice to meet everybody. And so
we lost
I'm
your
open
voice.
to learning. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just here to learn. I'm open to helping anybody that I come in contact with in any way that I can. So thank you for having me.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. So many good people here. It's so nice. Melinda.
Hello, Nancy. Nice to meet you.
Same
My name is Melinda Oling. I have been tapping into my spiritual self for quite some time now, since 2015. I was taught about oils from my teacher years ago, but I stepped away. I'd like to know what would be a good oil for me to use as I sit, and I would like a deeper connection with my soul. And Debbie was talked about you the other day and sent me this link, so here I am.
Therefore, thank you, Melinda. I'm going to go to Debbie.
Thank you, Nancy. I too have been out of working with essential oils for some time, and in the field that we're in, I'll try to be sensitive to the other people's senses and the way they would react to oil. So I'm always very mindful or careful of what I use. So the biggest thing for me is when we're working on heavier, denser energies, I want to create some type of spray that I can use after for a cleansing spray for the work that we do in the field is my biggest thing that I want to start working with. So thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. So before we continue, I just have to make a mental note to make a comment afterwards. Thank you. Got it. Courtney, would you like to say something? Thank you.
Oh, good evening. How are you today?
Good. Thank you. Would you like to share something?
I'm just here trying to just get a little more in touch with essential oils. I use them a little bit, but I'm not specific on them. I'm more looking for like business cleansing, like cleaning the energy in homes and stuff like that.
Oh, good. Courtney,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
anybody, when you have very specific questions, you're going to email me that you were on the Zoom. If you can do it within the next 3 days, I'll know, right? And I have your names. So just put oil question, because some of them are specific. And Sue Freeman, who is my friend, assistant, etc., for years now, she does home cleansing all the time, and I want to put you in touch with her. Okay? So
That sounds wonderful. All of
yeah.
us, or I don't know if okay.
That you asked a specific one. Many of them I can do, but if I know somebody who does it more than I do, why wouldn't I refer to them? Right?
Right, exactly. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good. Okay. I don't know if I got everybody. Patty, you're new here. So if you can just unmute for a moment and just say, what brings you to this? Just in a sentence, please. Thank you. If you'd like to unmute. And if not, that's fine. We'll go. I think Diana, did you speak yet?
Okay. I'm just here to learn. I know people who sell these and work with them, but I don't know anything. So
got it.
Maybe.
Thank you. And there's a Susan P, but I don't think that's Susan Pellicati, is it? I don't know.
And
yeah,
I'm a different Susan P, and I'm just here to learn. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I just want to make sure I get to everybody. And then there's Estelle who just popped in. So
Yes.
Estelle, just say hello. And what would you like to gain from this class if possible?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh. I'm actually thinking of taking a class to get certified in raindrop therapy. So I would like to learn about essential oils and also to help me because I have health issues.
Got it. Okay. Let's see where we start. So I am so grateful that everybody is that interested in self-care and caring for others. That is number one, always. And I am about to embark a little bit on a talk that may not be compliant for social media. So if I do, I'm going to hit the pause button to give you more details. And a background, I think, helps. So I could tell you certain things without hitting the pause button, but once I get to the how it's helped, I have to. So bear with me, and please, if you want, just hold your hand up, ask a question. It's informal, so don't make it something you are just a listener. You are an active participant, please. So did anybody not get a chance to speak? I see somebody with the iPhone. No name. Do you want to say something?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Christina. I don't know why my name's not showing up. I maybe used Zoom about 5 times in my life. I'm just here to learn.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I can go back to say that real essential oils on a basic level, very simple, is one of the main protectors of the aromatic plant kingdom. Most of it we cannot use, but everyone knows of lavender and peppermint and others like that. So obviously there is a portion of them that we can, but it's a very small, compared to how many species, it's not a lot. Because there are probably tens of thousands of species. And we might be able to use maybe tops, which haven't been all in use yet, but I gotta say probably about 500 to 1,000 eventually could be known. Right now, there are probably about 300-400 known. And I can tell you that it's been easily more than 100 million years that the aromatic plant kingdom would have died out had it not had these magnificent compounds to protect it. They developed. So if a virus attacked a plant, there'd be compounds to protect it from that virus or bacteria or fungus or anything else, the inflammation, which trees do get, plants do get. And so that occurs particularly in the weather conditions, rain, snow, none, desert. So everywhere they grow, temperature, altitude, everything, soil content, especially, I'd say. That peppermint plant grown outside my door is not equal to the peppermint that I purchase from Young Living. Very different. If I want it for my purpose. So one of the things I love, anybody here love history? Interested in history? So I love looking back at everything from the ancient times to the present. For instance, I started looking at the ancient grains and found Fiono, which is something that grows in any weather condition, no matter what. And it's out of, I forgot what part of Africa, I can't remember, but I order it to taste it. It's like quinoa with a nuttier flavor. It has a flavor to it. So I look at all these and go, okay, what's the purpose? As I said, spiritual purpose. Do you know yours? What would you say is the first thing you believe is your spiritual purpose? Anybody can answer and just pop in. Who would like to just share? Just a word. Yeah, Debbie.
To bring forward love.
To
bring forward love, to work with love.
Beautiful. Hi, Melinda. Yeah.
My is being kindness for everyone, no matter of their differences, and no matter of what you think of them, that we should all listen and understand them. So spreading kindness.
I love that term, spreading kindness. That's a cool term. Who else would like to share?
I like gathering
Donna?
information.
Beautiful. Kim?
I like
said that?
gathering information. Yeah, I did. I did. And supporting people. I'm a good support person.
Yeah, you are. And Donna?
Mine is to listen.
Ditto on Melinda, for sure. So, Stacy, you want to say something?
I just was going to say, basically, kind of along the same lines, just to help one another.
Thank you. So ultimately, our lives are here to love life and to share the love we have for life in a variety of ways. And one of them is, of course, kindness and compassion and empathy and listening and love, right? And we all feel that way. And I know for myself, I was called very selfish when I was a kid. I have no idea why. I cleaned my sister's part. I cooked meals when I was 8 and I babysat starting at age 10. But I was selfish. And I learned the term center through yourself one day in my mind. I said, no, I'm not just thinking of me. Matter of fact, when I think of others, I feel better. I feel more confident to be connected to others in the world, whether they're plants, people, birds, insects, it didn't matter. So I think we all have the same purpose, right? And we're all saying it. It is the spiritual purpose of loving life, appreciating it, and spreading that appreciation in whatever way comes to us to do this, right? Hi, Judy Till. Long time. So I chose essential oils because I had been in my work as a nurse first and did very well as a psych nurse in an experimental unit. We made history in New York City at a time where we had the highest crime rate in our district called Fort Apache. And I fell in love with the way the gifts were gifted to me since birth, that I suddenly knew things. I could see what hallucinations meant, what was behind it, what was the trauma causing it. And we made history because we were a great team, fabulous team. We all helped. And we had very few people ever come back. Well, we didn't have any come back. We had a 10-day stay. And it was so good. I was offered top post in psychiatry research in the state of New York by the director of psychiatry. So I knew that something was going magic. And I'm giving you the background to tell you something magical for me. Because of several things that happened, without going in, doesn't matter, you ever care. I've written 3 books. Feel free to get any of them on Amazon. Just put my name in and up will come them. I am not Nancy Weber online. My maiden name, Orland, has to be in because Nancy Weber is another author. And Facebook likes, I have cartels from parts of Latin America like to clone me and write in Spanish and take my stuff. And not good. So if you go, I have information there and I have research there, but I also have how-to there. Whether it's being a psychic investigator, I have a badge. Whether it's being a soul detective, my newest book. Have to brag a little bit because I love my book. This one was a work of love. So I went along my way very well when I left and said, no, thank you for the job. And I had a ball. Within about a year, I'd say somewhere from, I left in 74, I had a son in 74 and 75, I was working full-time as a psychic and a medium and a medical intuitive, although those were never terms I used. I didn't use any terms. People just came. I just did whatever I could to help them. And suddenly I started getting people saying, oh, she's the psychic. And I said, oh my God, no, I don't want you to think that. And they'd say, why? I said, well, I don't have a caftan and a crystal ball at the door when you walk in. I'm just a busy mom who happens to love looking and helping. And so that term stuck because that's how they knew. Fast forward, my own history is as a crime victim, not once, but several times, and deathbed a couple of times. I am permanently disabled and I have a genetic defect in the spine. So I'm not supposed to be capable of walking. But every neurologist and neurosurgeon who operated on me in emergencies, wheelchair for life. Nope. No, I struggled. I got out. I did what I could, and everything was going inside first and coming out. And I had a great time with that. But I always knew I had been paralyzed a few times. I taught myself how to walk. About 2003 or 2, Sue Pellicati can correct it if it's in a not. I'm not quite sure, but Sue Pellicati we met when she was a client, and I kind of laughed and said, wait a minute, you and I are going to work together. And we did. We formed a nonprofit in holistic education. We put on festivals in the state of New Jersey for 13 years. And this is back in the 80s. And so, 90s. Does somebody need closed caption? No? Okay, because something popped up. Okay. So, being that I knew I could be paralyzed again, and maybe this time I wouldn't be able to walk, I had no idea. I always do my best to get out of whatever trouble I'm in, no matter whether I cause it or my body or others cause it. Sue calls me in 2002 or 3 and starts telling me about raindrop technique. It's not a therapy. We may not be able to use the term therapy. The FDA so far, it may change, but the FDA, we are not allowed to use a lot of terms, and we can't use them under a license. Essential oils fall under the personal care industry, which means that your perfume falls under the same industry that the ancient essential oils, 7,000 years of distilling that we know of, falls. So when she came over with her husband, Arrest, who is an acupuncturist, I had a life-changing experience. I had been exposed to essential oils, like several of you said. I was never impressed. I liked the scent. I love jasmine and quite a few other, but I wasn't impressed by them for spiritual healing. And that is approved language right now. Okay. When I started using them, I knew my worries were over, and I knew why. So here goes the pause button.
That's a good question. Thank
Okay.
you.
So now we're dealing with spiritual purpose of essential oils, right? Each of us is very different with them. And what pleases one, and I can even ask Robin, join me anytime you want and say whatever you'd like also about what you learned on it. I find that there are certain ones I gravitate to keep my frequency high. It's like music. Well, the frequency of a particular music that I might love, like Bach's Concerto, Brandenburg Concerto number 4, helps in 8 minutes really relax me. But its frequency is not what my frequency is, but it harmonizes with mine. It's like walking, as one said, walking into a place with the scent and the smell of flowers in the gardens and the fresh air, and how beautiful. It's harmonizing with us, right? But it isn't the same frequency. Essential oils are one of the very few other things that harmonize with us, only if they're true. So here's a fun part for you. If you have an essential oil from someplace, I don't care where, and Young Living, if you happen, take one drop, a tiny drop. I take it like even on my pinky, and one nostril and close the other, and then do the same. And be very quiet and feel it. And you're going to feel if it's fairly real. You may have synthetics and you won't know it. But overall, if it's real and not totally synthetic or mostly synthetic, each nostril will have a different smell. It will pick up different molecules. They're not the same. If it's synthetic, it's going to be exactly the same on both sides. Got it? So the spiritual purpose aligns with the spiritual purpose of essential oils. I think of it as the pivotal point between, if I will, heaven and earth, the spiritual side of existence and the grounded, because it grows in the ground, but it comes to be of service like we are. We're all keepers of the light, and so are the plant kingdoms. We wouldn't be here without them, right? Not just the aromatic. So that the spiritual purpose of those who can also be useful for us is what Debbie said. Love of life itself. They grow over millions, hundreds of millions of years, maybe. I don't really know how long, because anytime you read, they change the numbers. They find more. It's like indigenous people were here 24,000 years. No, now it's 26,000. Then they'll find something else and they'll go to 30,000, right? Don't know, but they're old. So our spiritual purpose is to live a full life, right? Would you say that's true to start with? And to appreciate unconditionally life. That doesn't mean we don't have the bumps in the road, the curveballs thrown at us, etc. But overall, we find that when we love, when we have kindness, when we have compassion, just like everybody said at the beginning, when we all listen, then we naturally want to spread that, don't we? Don't we want to share it? It's how we share that matters. I think Melinda summed that up well. When there's no judgment, there's listening. There's sometimes, for those who also know me, I will jump right in and say something but only with permission. When I have clients, I feel free to say whatever comes up because they've asked. They know what I do. They ask. And I certainly judge the actions, never the soul. So for me, when I use an essential oil, it's not one oil, Melinda. It is quite a few. Ridiculous amount, actually. But here goes some ideas. Think of what would connect you deeper to your own life. I want you to write down something, anything. What would connect you deeper to your own life? What feeling, thought, what would matter? Would it be gratitude? Would it be humility? Would it be surrender to the highest good? What would it matter? And when you do that, I want you to now write down something else. What are your top 3 priorities in life? Okay. Now I want you to take a look at them and see what are the 3 things per day that you spend the most time on? Mhm. Okay. If you've done that, I want you to take a look at the two. Are they aligned? I know. There's some, yes, most no. That's normal because life is fast and then we put our dreams on the back burner. And you want to move them to the front, but the first step is always internal. So to go internal, there are things depending on what you want. The first one I ever used was called highest potential. I didn't know anything about it. Sue Pellicati and her husband had put some oils on me, and I noticed the difference. And when I stood up, they gave me this, they handed me this bottle and they said, just smell it and tell us. I had no clue. And I'm going, oh my God, it's going right up to my pineal gland. And then it's going to, and I'm tracing it and going, whoa, huh? And they said, that's what Gary said. And I said, who's he? I had no clue. And so I was very fortunate. A few weeks later, attend a 3-day training with him and never looked back after that. My husband, it was on raindrop technique, and I have a certification program. So does Isha on certifying people, nurses for CEs, etc. Both, and I took my certification in clinical aromatherapy from Isha, Institute of Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy. Lovely group. And lightwingcenter.org are my certification programs there for essential oils, essentially, but other holistic things. So anyhow, that was highest potential. When I ended up buying that and abundance oil, that came 3 months after I started, because I was getting all the single oils, reading the reference book and going, oh, this is fascinating. Oh, my client needs that one. I have to share it with her and see if she wants it, blah, blah, blah. So when I started doing those, I was doing my gratitude prayers and they became so extensive that I didn't want to stop. And it was 7 days later that I was on court TV. Well, the phone call came in and the series started, and that was one of about 12 or 14 documentaries I've done besides other TV shows. It went crazy, and I realized that that had changed everything. I hadn't done anything else different. But they were a perfect match for what I needed, and that's my point. Your perfect match, I don't know for sure. You have to do some experiencing. So now my perfect matches have been things like, one day, we used to have 15 mil. These are little 5 mil. And this is a 15 mil, about 300 drops and about 90 drops here, something like that. So they had a 15 mil bottle of a blend called Awaken. And every month I would get a different one to try. And then it doesn't matter, but I accrued a lot over time. But I also like the 5 mil to carry. So I started pouring for the 15 and I poured maybe 30, 40 drops all over me by accident. And at that time, my desk, well, you couldn't see my desk. It was all filled with stuff to do for months. I cleared it all that day. So for me, Awaken seemed to organize everything and everything clicked. You know what I mean by that? It's kind of like walking by something, seeing it on the floor, not picking it up. Anything I saw on the floor, I would pick up right then. So I knew that's good for me. And each one that I chose, I ended up recognizing and being aware, what's the difference in me for this time? So I look at you, Melinda, and the word sacred frankincense comes because it was the start of international commerce. It was the frankincense trail from Oman and right by the Dead Sea. It was the oil. And Oman, this I can say out loud, no matter any other company claiming to have Omani oil, no, they don't. Not in this country. What they do is send their own stuff somewhere. They get some frankincense somewhere, and they ship it to somebody in Oman who will ship it back to them untouched, so that they can claim it's from Oman. No, it isn't. The Royal Sultan only gifted Young Living and Gary Young with permission and help, and gave land to build the distiller, and gave land, literally, for growing more of the younger Boswellia sacra trees. They have ancient history. So their tribes, wow, their history was lovely. Nobody except the royalty for thousands of years was allowed to use these resin and then the essential oils distilled. Nobody. If the tribes even touched them wrong, they got their hands cut off. And it was generations of tribes expert at it. Nobody else was allowed to touch it. So I'll throw in a little bit about a past life. Gary had many trips to Oman, and he was the only outsider permitted to go to the northern slopes that were militarily guarded. And he goes to the tribe and he said, I'd like to make the first cut. No one was allowed to except the tribe. They said yes, because the Royal Sultan allowed him to do things. And so when he made his first cut, they marveled, and they had a documentary on it that we saw privately. And and they questioned, how do you know? He said, I remember. So sacred frankincense is one I do a lot of prayers with, of any sort. It's my go-to. We have the second highest one also, which is frankincense cautery, which has other molecules that do other things. And that is on a non-recorded Zoom one day. For anybody who wants that, you just stay in touch and let me know. And then I'll tell you the differences in all of them, but you can also read them in the reference book. So sacred frankincense is a top one. But then I had a funny piece. Anybody here know what imposter syndrome is? Anybody ever have it besides me? Okay, quietly. All right. Well, I had imposter syndrome in a very bizarre fashion, I think. I had the honor and pleasure of being able to meet some wonderful people who were well known. Harry Belafonte, Tom Hanks, and a whole bunch of others in different times of my life. And I refused to talk with them. My breakthrough came when I didn't care anymore about either. Talking, not talking, doesn't matter. They're just people. They're just friends. I was so scared to say something because I needed their help in something that I wanted to do. And it was the same thing when it came to writing books and getting endorsements. So I chose different oils to help me on that, to break through. And there are many different ones. So one that I love is, it's a 2-box, 8 oils, I think, called the Freedom Kit. It's the Freedom Release and Freedom Sleep. And it was one I used years ago also to break through to other things for myself. And they worked beautifully for not going over and over, looping in my mind about what had happened to me. Not being survivor's guilt, I'll call it. I walked off deathbeds. And as one woman who had the same occurrence as I did, we both came in 2 weeks after we gave birth, and I was given 8 hours to live, and she was given the same thing. She died, I lived. And that's survivor's guilt in a nutshell. So Freedom Kit erased all that. It just erased it. I followed the instructions in the little kit, listened. I've done many of the different ones experimentally by going every month and just ordering particular ones. And now Black Friday's coming up, so a little plug. there's going to be a huge sale. And I would say anybody who is looking to either is part of Young Living, great. But if you're not, don't go on it by yourself. Either contact somebody you already know who's in it that you want to be mentored, or contact me and I'll give you the link, because we do not want this by prescription, which is why it's a network market. And it's the only one of its kind that does what it does and knows what it knows about it. So any of us can help you. Robin, where are you located?
Australia. We don't have the Freedom Kit.
I know. I would send it to you if I
We don't
could,
have
but
a lot.
you know what? Yeah. Well, actually, I think you can get things like Aroma Sleep or something. They do put that out as a single now. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but
Yeah.
maybe they'll put it out there. Yeah, I know. So sorry, but you have plenty. And what we do when they're either out of stock, because this is real stuff, so that goes out of stock. If it doesn't have a perfect percentile compounds, etc., they're not selling it. They won't. This has long history. So when you consider it, I want you to use your intuition. There are more than 200. There are blends and there are single oils in Young Living. You need your intuition, and if you want my help on it, whether you're in my team or not, you can always email me and just make sure, YL is Young Living. You don't have to write out Young Living. YL oil question. And let me see if I can help. Got it? So when you're putting it all together for yourself, whether it's for wellness care, which is what we call it legally, that's compliant language, whether it's spiritually anointing somebody else, which is what we call raindrop technique, spiritually anointing, because you may live in a state that says, oh no, you can't do that. And you can't do it under medical licenses, by the way. Massage therapists may have a license in certain states to do that, but in certain states like Florida, Texas, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, I think, I can't remember all of them, there are more than 24, have laws, statutes in their massage or nursing or doctor's license saying, no, you can't touch anybody except their head, hands, and feet exposed. So raindrop, for instance, is on the spine, on the back, without clothes and feet. And so lightwingcenter.org is our IRS calls anything that has any kind of religion. Our religion is holistic health education. That's it, nothing else. And so it's still a church. They don't care whether it's a synagogue, temple, Buddhism, but if you want a religious organization, it's a church. So under that Lightwing Center, we do the certifications in them, and we teach compliance, but we also ordain people in different states by Zoom for decades. 15 years now I'm doing it, because lay practices have a right to do whatever they want. So essential oils have always been a part of it for me, and it was the inspiration for even starting to protect people in that way, because we all loved raindrop. And if you don't know raindrop technique, just go on YouTube and look at some of them. They're all over the place, but if you look at the one Young Living, it's an older version of the technique, and it doesn't really matter. It is something that works no matter what. Your intention to help others is everything, right? So when you are wanting an oil for perhaps purposely for me, when I look, depending on what I'm doing, when I have clients here who I know have had difficulties, serious difficulties, I work, for those that don't know, I've done a lot of murder cases and federal stuff, can't talk about, but high crime. And some of the people are here, and it's pretty intense. People who've just lost their kid to a murder or an accident, and they They know who I am. They're referred by detectives I worked with or whatever. They're here the next day. And I put on a diffuser with something called Trauma Life. And I use an oil called Peace and Calming, and I anoint myself as a human diffuser, kind of. And I offer them if they would like one drop, because I know that they can't hear a single thing when they're in deep grief right then and shock. And I want them to be fully present if they can, because that's how I can share as a medium some information from the other side for them. If the emotions are so strong and taking over the whole room, it's hard to work. So for each kind of situation, there is something different. You follow why I'm saying it that way? But the spiritual purpose gives you the direct flow and intuition, because the essential oils are brilliant. Dr. Wayne Dyer, in his last outing on stage, and he was somebody I knew personally. I loved that man. No ego. None. He was on stage, because if you don't know who he was, look him up. Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he wrote many books, 20 or 30, don't remember. And he picked up one of the oils. He had leukemia, and 11 years before, and it was in remission. And he picked up the bottle and he said, "This is God in a bottle," and started talking about how his gratitude for Gary and what has helped his life. And so I say to you, everybody does it differently. Your intuition, your ability to know what's best for you, nobody can duplicate that for you. All the answers are deep inside. That's why I keep writing. Any of you ever love to write? Do you like to write? Yeah, Debbie. Yeah, Melinda. Yay, writers. Come on. Maybe we start a writers group. I've done 6 books total, but only 3 are in print now. And so what I found is it was so necessary to support other people going through the bumps in the road that you have to tell your truths. And then what did you do to make a difference for your own life first, in order to make a difference for others' lives? Well, I can't talk about the oils in print because I need a license to name the blends. They're proprietary. But I can put it as a resource and talk about it. But I can also tell everybody, it always starts inside anyhow. Yes, Diana, I agree. So email. If we write, I love sharing and learning from others and helping others. And I want to open up now to ask if any of you have any questions. But before I do, just if you dot on my free weekly newsletter, if you go to my website, my name, Nancy Olin Weber, and it'll pop up as you're looking around as a free weekly newsletter. Go ahead. There's a special holiday stuff happening for the books. And if you also say something about having been here and you order some of the books, then if you tell me that, you can email me and say, "I just ordered such and I was on this Zoom." You'll get some surprise also. I'm not going to tell you what. I like surprises because we've had enough negative surprises in life, haven't we? So I like happy surprises, and I love doing that for people. So, and animals. So in case, you never know. Dogs, cats, they need love. So I want to spend a few more minutes before we close and just open the door, ask anything that you want.
Could we use essential oils for animals?
Very much so. So okay, I don't have it here. All Nature Speaks is my animal book, and the foreword was written by a veterinarian, Dr. Susan Albright. She is also pictured with her horse in a book that no longer is in print, but can be found sometimes, the Essential Oil Animal Desk Reference. And we use them. I have taught certification for animal aromatherapy to 3 different veterinarians who are all holistic vets. And we use them for everything except the operating room. We use them to clean the tables. We use them to calm them down. So I have a fun one for you. So a rescue dog, he was about 60 pounds. The woman called me and she said, "Oh my God, come here and you'll see what I mean." So there was a little room that she had, I don't know what you call it, these thick plastic bolted to the burring strips because he had eaten all the walls during storms. You could not control him. He went berserk. And I thought, yeah, barometric pressure puts pressure on the brain. Yeah, I get it. I could feel it. So I gave her 2 things. I gave her music, which you now call binaural, but I know it from the very beginning of the split brain studies in the 60s when Nobel Prize winner Roger Sperry, and then somebody in Bulgaria did the original studies in psychic discoveries behind the Iron Curtain. I've been using it ever since then, but it's great for animals too. So binaural music for healing, relaxation, focus, anything, it doesn't matter. Cats, dogs, horses, people, doesn't matter. Babies. Makes them smarter because it keeps you in both hemispheres. And then, because of what he needed, I took an unbleached coffee filter, which I carry around in the car, a bunch of them, because I've used them for a lot of people in emergencies. And I put 5 drops of peace and calming on it. I showed her and I said, just stick it right near him and take, for him, as long as you don't have beagle ears, because you don't want it flopping into the eyes, but you take it and you put it on the very tips of the ears, just a tiny bit, tiny, less than a drop. 1 drop for all 4 fingers, and you just hold it there gently. You don't rub, you just hold it for a couple of seconds to warm it up, and it'll get into the fur and through the fur, through the shaft, into the bloodstream. And the tips of the ears have more blood than any other place in the body. Okay. So the next day was a storm. And she called me. She said, "Guess who's sleeping at my feet?" So I've done that with cats who wanted to kill each other. They were rescues. Nobody knew what to do. And I said, okay. And I brought my 2 magic things. So think of your internal and external senses. Your psychic senses are the same as your external ones. Well, body ones. Olfactory is the most potent one for most animals. Far more than ours. Don't clean with crap in your house. Warning. Dogs and cats will pay a very heavy price. Their brain gets it first, way before ours. So do infants. Children. The smaller, the canary in the coal mine. You know what I mean by that? Right? They send in the canary first. If it's methane gas there, it'll kill the canary. The coal miners never go in. Our children, our pets, are the canaries in the coal mine when it comes to the industry of synthetics. Just keep that in mind. There's a line called Thieves in Young Living. I'm never without it. I clean my house with the household cleaner. I clean it with the thieves' wipes. And it's so easy and simple and gorgeous. Don't care. And I know somebody who accidentally drank the household cleaner, and we all laughed and we said, "You're getting very clean, aren't you? Just drink water and make sure that you detoxed everything out because it's breaking down all the crap inside." And he was fine. Yeah. No caution on it. That's why I liked it. So, any other questions before we close? Alexandra?
Nancy.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't know.
yes, Elizabeth, go ahead.
So what would my first step be in trying to figure out what I should use to get me out of this constant state of like fight, flight, and like
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
So
can't get
we
rid of
can't,
it.
Elizabeth, we can't talk here about that.
Oh,
But you're going to contact me and just say fight and flight in the subject.
great. Okay, thank you so much.
Oils,
Sorry.
flight, and give me your phone number when you do.
Okay, thank you.
Got it?
Oh,
Alexandra?
I have yes, I finally drove home. And so you never mentioned about anything about hyssop oil. In what way do you use hyssop oil? Do I say it's HYS hyssop
Oh,
oil?
hyssop, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't say a lot about 190 of them at least.
Right. I just love that one specific one, but I'm
I
not
can't. I'm not
intuitively I like it, but how do you use it?
Can't say. Not here.
Oh, okay.
So what you need to do is look at the book, Seeds of Time.
I have it, but I thought maybe you have specific ways, something
No.
like not everything in a book, I believe.
Well, yeah, but the medical properties are in the book, and I do use that as a resource. Like when I mentioned cypress oil sometime before, I didn't know why, but then I opened up a chemistry book and read, and I went, oh, good. So sometimes your intuition will tell you when to use, what to use, and you won't know, really? I don't know. And then you go look it up and you go, ha, I was right. Or, I found a new way to use it that they didn't. So we don't know. I mean, that I've done that again and again, making roll-ons for whatever. And I've created a few techniques that are probably there as certifications that I do teach in person. And sometimes if I can, I teach them on Zoom but people used to fly in all the time for those certifications. And since pandemic, it's different. So I want you to use your intuition and then open up the book and see if it says anything. Don't read
I
it.
have a quick another question. I got it.
Sure.
So I cannot find an oil, white magnolia. You know, I really love the fragrance of white magnolia, but I don't see it anywhere
Right.
because I'm new to Young Living.
No.
I'm still
You are not.
discovering, but
No.
I cannot find it.
You won't find it there. It's very much like Blue Lotus. Gary traveled the world and he had a whole team travel with him, searching everywhere on the planet for different things. And what they found were there's not enough to service the world. So it's very much like rosewood we didn't have for years. There is an embargo, and then there was an inappropriate permit paper that got messed up. And now Brazil, rosewood is there's not a lot left of the species, but Peru won't let anybody in any longer on it because there's just not a lot. But there is an area of Brazil that has a lot of rosewood, and they're learning how to grow branches to use and different parts that they could never do before that will preserve Brazil's rosewood. So now we have rosewood, but not a lot. We don't have it as a single oil. I have it as a single oil from before the embargo in Iran, but it's now back in our original Valor, Valor, and I love rosewood. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a question of scarcity, basically. The white magnolia, and I love the white lily, lotus, and it disappeared. It just, even the blends that I love into the future that has this white lily, they disappear. I'm like, oh.
Not enough of it. Weather conditions, good luck. We're changing the planet. It's not the same planet that grew all this. We know that.
I got it. Thank you.
Right.
Lisa.
Sure. They won't put it out on the market if it's going to make it extinct. They're very careful about that. And if it doesn't meet the criteria of the value of that, they won't. because, as I said, I can grow peppermint, I can grow spearmint, I can grow lavender, lavandula angustifolia. It isn't the same. I wouldn't dream of doing what I can do with lavender from Young Living. So, oh, the embargo, Estelle. So Iran, we have an embargo against getting spikenard and I think it's onkia. I can't remember which. Oh, galbanon from Iran. That was the only place we could get that kind of level that we wanted. And it was in our 12 essential oils of the Bible kit. And now we have a 10 essential oils of the Bible kit because those two are embargo. But rosewood was also not embargoed, but Iran had the embargo on the two ancient oils that we use from the Bible. Sorry if I messed up. Okay. Anything else?
Can I just ask where you would get that book? The
Okay.
Seeds of Time?
I'll write it in the chat. Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I just need that to go to everyone. I'm making sure I spelled it. Yeah. So that's the company that's now produces it. Okay, so to tell you, if you need my link, I want you to email because I want to know who it is and I want to help you. If you just go and do your own, I could give you the link, but I'd rather help you make sure you get what you need, not what.
Quick question, Nancy.
Sure, Gwendolyn.
Are you currently or will you be offering in future certification in aromatherapy?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Well, you see, we're not compliant, but I have to say that under Lightwing Center, it's a private expressive association, so I can say things in there that I can't normally say. Got it? But if I can't, the handbooks do tell you. But if you look at Institute of Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy also, I think they have a 2-year one. I don't do that because I do so many other things. My courses, when it comes to aromatherapy, they may be a few days. Like Raindrop certification is a 1-day event, but it has to be in person. There are certain things that you can't do over virtual offerings. So, yeah. Where are you located?
I am in New York City.
Oh.
Well, New York State.
Where in New York City?
Beacon, New York.
Oh, sure. I grew up in Brooklyn and I lived in Manhattan and the Queens and Bronx. Not Staten Island.
No. Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn.
Me too. East Flatbush.
Oh, okay.
East 48th Street.
Kings County, Brooklyn. Okay.
Say hi to Brooklyn, right? Wave.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody, have a great night. And you have my email address. I'm here. And if you need help, let me know. And anything else?
Thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome. I hope it's useful. Take good care.
You too.
And I'll have your name, so we'll send you the Zoom recording anyhow, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Take good care.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for
Nancy.
joining.